Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're going to answer the age-old question, who is better between Zacian Crown Sword, Zamazenta Crown Shield, and Necrozma Duskmane? This is going to be a different style video, so sit back, relax, grab your hot chocolate, enjoy the music, and let's get started. The first thing we want to do is recognize that these three Pokemon have unique jobs. Zacian and Zamazenta, their main jobs is frontline DPS. So DPS, right? And what do we mean by DPS? It means just Metal Claw, spam, into spec, right? Into charge move. That is basically frontline DPS. We tap, 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 tap. Then we do a spec. We go back and tap, 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 tap. That's it. This is Zacian, Crown, and Zamazenta. And then we get to Necrozma Duskmane. And Necrozma Duskmane's job is sponge. It's not the same. So while we can tap a little bit, Necrozma Duskmane's advantage is that it has lower defense than both of them. So it can sponge abilities and then very quickly get Sunseal Strike off. And because Sunseal Strike is faster and stronger than Behemoth Blade, Necrozma Duskmane can even out the DPS or exceed Zacian Crown under the right circumstances. So what we do is tank an ability into Metal Claw or Psycho Cut, right? Into Sunseal Strike. And this is called sponge, right? We are sponging a big ability to gain most of our energy and then very quickly reaching Sunseal Strike. So these two roles are not the same, right? This and this are not the same. That is why they're not directly comparable. You cannot compare Necrozma Duskmane's DPS the way you compare Zacian's DPS. This is why in short man raids, ratings like this just do not work. They don't work. Oops. So one thing we can extrapolate is that Zacian is basically doing Zamazenta's job, but better. And it's just better than Zamazenta in almost all situations. So Zamazenta essentially is out of the picture entirely. It's just, it doesn't compete. So now we go down to where Necrozma Duskmane is better than Zacian. And a good example I want to cover is the Terrakion example. The Terrakion example is essentially the case where Necrozma Duskmane has access to two advantages. One is that it knows Psycho Cut, and its ability to use Psycho Cut, which is a stronger move than Metal Claw, gives it a serious advantage as a sponger because Terrakion also learns Earthquake. This means that Necrozma Duskmane's catch tanking ability versus Terrakion is skyrocketed. And as you can see from various slimes, when we search up Terrakion, right? And we search up Terrakion in particular when it has an Earthquake move set up, we see a lot of lineups use Necrozma Duskmane. And these aren't just mine, these are other players. We have an example of a no weather boost using 1 Zacian and 5 Necrozma Duskmanes. We have a sunny angle with Primal Groudon, 3 Necrozma Duskmanes, and 2 Zacians. I personally did this route only because I only had 3 Necrozma Duskmanes. Otherwise, I would have used 5. We have a cloudy angle with 3 Necrozma Duskmanes. We have, let's see, let's go to T5 Meadow. We have a very legacy mode with close combat and Necrozma Duskmanes. This was before the Zacian release, so it doesn't really count a whole lot. For the Kyurem White angle, we have 3 Kyurem White entries with Fusion Flare. And in all 3 entries, we have Necrozma Duskmane. And even if this was before Zacian, I can tell you right now that it is the exact same case as Terrakion, where Zacian does not absorb enough energy from Fusion Flare to gain the same amount of DPS as Necrozma Dustmane could. The only case where Zacian wins out in this is in Sunny Weather, where a Fusion Flare would actually one-shot Necrozma Dustmane, but it would not one-shot Zacian. So there we have it. When we observe Pokemon's jobs and roles, that's when we can understand where they are the strongest. Let's take a look at Lele example, where this favors Zacian. In the Lele example, Zacian is taking damage from Focus Blast and non-Focus Blast abilities. However, Focus Blast is neither super effective on Zacian, nor is it on Necrozma Dustmane. This removes Necrozma Dustmane's greatest strength. Its sponging ability is not as good because the move used against it is not as effective in terms of weaknesses. And so Zacian makes up the difference by having a higher attack stat. When we use more Metal Claws, Zacian ends up creeping past Necrozma Dustmane as a result. And the last case example would probably be the No Weather Boost Kyurem solo angle. The No Weather Boost Kyurem solo angle, if I could find it, here we go. Here we have Eternatus, Mega Rayquaza, and out of all the Steel frontline DPSs, we go with Zacian. Why Zacian? Because Kyurem only learns Blizzard, Draco Meteor, or Dragon Claw, and these all do very little damage to both Zacian and Necrozma Dustmane. So when we have very little sponging, we value DPS and self-sustainable TDO. And who has the most of that? Zacian. And that kind of concludes which one is better. Neither are better. Zacian is great when you need self-sustainable DPS and TDO. Necrozma is great when you need to break the DPS barrier by sponging high damaging abilities. So who has the higher ceiling? Necrozma. Who has the higher average? Zacian. And when are they good? Both in different situations. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later.